wanted to pull up something here on Jimmy Carter speaking about AIPAC and the crimes of Israel. And honestly, you know, this has been a recurring theme. We talked a few weeks ago. We reacted to a video from Anna Kasparian, who, of course, as communists, we have a lot of disagreements with her. But she was, you know, very correct in showing how, for doing much less to the Palestinian people, Bush criticized Israel and asked them to stop. So where does that put Biden? When he's shown that on this issue, he's much more of a genocidaire, you know, a friend of genocide than Bush. And then Eddie did a video showing how Reagan of all people, condemned some of the actions that Israel was doing and threatened to pull support if they keep it going. And now we're going to see Carter similarly. So literally, this is where lesser of two evils has gotten us, which has been just flowing. The lesser of two evils logic, all it's done is allow us to flow with the tendency of degeneration and of getting worse and worse and worse of capitalist imperialism. But here's another example: former President Jimmy Carter speaking about the Israeli lobby and the crimes of Israel. This is something that is unheard of. The people that even critique Israel for the genocide they're carrying forth today, they're labeled by the White House spokesperson as disgusting. The president is literally saying that in the face of almost 70% of the population wanting a ceasefire, that it's impossible for us to have a ceasefire, that he'll never support a ceasefire. So from the standpoint of the last administrations that we've had, which have also all of them been criminal. Remember what Chomsky said: if the Nuremberg trial laws were applied to these people, all of them would be tried at the Hague, would get the Hague. But the one we have now, in comparison to all the other ones, is, you know, I don't know, tenfold times worse. Who knows? But let's listen to Jimmy Carter speak on AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, and Israel.
Americans don't want to know, and many Israelis don't want to know what is going on inside Palestine. It's a terrible human rights persecution that is far transcends what any outsider would imagine. And there are powerful political forces in America that prevents any objective analysis of the problem in the Holy Land. I think it's accurate to say that not a single member of Congress with whom I'm familiar would possibly speak out and call for Israel to withdraw to their legal boundaries or to publicize the plight of the Palestinians. And that is added on to by the very effective work of the American-Israeli group called AIPAC, which is performing its completely legitimate task of convincing Americans to support the policies of the Israeli government. And AIPAC is not dedicated to peace. They're dedicated to inducing the maximum support in America, in the White House, in the Congress, and in the public media.
There you go. If he said that today, he'd be called, as Jenny accurately points out, a hateful, bigot, anti-Semite. Literally. They just fucking passed a resolution, voted for unanimously, with the exception of Thomas Massey from Kentucky, and voted present by Rashida Tlaib, you know, someone who's been criticizing Zionism in Israel and calling for a ceasefire, but somehow does not have the ability to vote against something that is attempting to equate critique of Zionism with anti-Semitism. What does that says of what that says of her, which is very clear to me, is that she doesn't know. She votes present. She's unable to vote against a bill, a vote that would equate the action that she's doing, critique of Zionism in Israel, with anti-Semitism. That's almost like indirectly accepting that when they call you an anti-Semite for criticizing Israel, that's okay. And the other squad members, of course, our archetype of socialists, of course, they all voted in favor of this bill. That is one of the most effective ways of silencing the truth, because no one wants to be called a fucking anti-Semite. But as soon as you criticize the U.S.'s colonial outposts in the Middle East and Israel, you get called an anti-Semite. And all of the so-called socialists, the DSAers in Congress, they supported it. But there's Jimmy Carter telling the truth, something that is not allowed today, and that no politician has been able